This bizarre Star Trek character wouldn't work anywhere but Lower Decks. Star Trek has never shied away from eccentric characters, from the melodramatic Q to the endlessly logical Spock. But Star Trek Lower Decks takes eccentricity to a level few other series would dare. While mainline Star Trek series often focus on heroic captains, brilliant science officers, or morally complex antagonists, Lower Decks gives us the crew members who usually live in the background. Among these quirky figures, one stands out in particular, and the truth is, this character wouldn't work anywhere else in the Star Trek universe. Meet Ensign Tendi, the enthusiastic Orion medical officer whose boundless optimism is only rivaled by her tendency to get into absurd, often dangerous situations. In a traditional Star Trek series, say The Next Generation or Discovery, Tendi would either be a one-episode comic relief character or a medical officer who strictly follows protocol, with her cheerful naivete muted by the show's tone. But in Lower Decks, her exuberance, clumsiness, and endless curiosity are celebrated and amplified, making her a fan favorite. What makes Tendi so bizarre is the way she simultaneously embodies innocence and chaos. She's the kind of character who, on any other Starfleet vessel, might accidentally destroy the holodeck, trip over a warp core cable, or misdiagnose an alien species as sick when they're actually perfectly healthy. And yet, in Lower Decks, this is precisely what makes her endearing. The show's animated format, fast-paced humor, and willingness to lean into absurdity allow Tendi's quirks to shine in a way live-action Star Trek never could. Imagine a live-action Tendi in Voyager, earnestly trying to administer medical aid to a hostile species. There's a good chance the result would be far more cringe-worthy than comedic. Tendi's eccentricity is further amplified by her relationships with her fellow ensigns. She forms an almost sisterly bond with Rutherford, the engineering genius whose fascination with alien technology borders on obsession, and Mariner, the rule-breaking, thrill-seeking renegade. These interactions create a dynamic that is part sitcom, part space adventure, and completely unique to Lower Decks. In a more serious Star Trek series, these relationships would either be heavily romanticized, overly dramatic, or toned down entirely. The result? The chemistry that makes Tendi so enjoyable would be lost. Another factor that makes Tendi such a bizarre yet perfect fit for Lower Decks is the show's willingness to poke fun at Star Trek itself. She often finds herself in situations that reference decades of Star Trek lore, sometimes accurately, sometimes hilariously inaccurately. One moment she's marveling at the warp core like a true Starfleet engineer. The next she's falling into it in an homage to classic Star Trek accidents. Her character exists in a meta space where Star Trek canon is both revered and playfully subverted. A more serious show could never handle that balance. The tone would break, and the joke would fall flat. Tendi also embodies a rare blend of optimism and adaptability that feels almost cartoonish. But again, in this context, that's perfect. Traditional Star Trek series often rely on tension, moral dilemmas, and the weight of command decisions. Characters who are too cheerful, too reckless, or too naive would either annoy viewers or seem unrealistic. But in Lower Decks, Tendi's unwavering positivity acts as a counterbalance to the absurdity around her. She makes the audience root for her, even when she's doing the exact wrong thing, because the show's tone assures us that everything will turn out okay, or at least hilariously bad. It's also worth noting that Tendi's physical comedy and expressive animation allow her bizarre qualities to be exaggerated in ways that live action simply cannot replicate. From exaggerated facial expressions to impossible stunts and slapstick mishaps, the animated medium gives her a freedom that other Star Trek characters never enjoy. This amplification of her quirks is why her character resonates so strongly with fans. A live-action Tendi might require CGI, stunt doubles, or awkward physical gags that would distract rather than delight. In animation, she can leap, tumble, and contort in ways that enhance the comedy without compromising believability. Finally, Tendi represents something larger in the Star Trek universe. The idea that not every story needs to revolve around heroism or moral gravitas. Lower Decks thrives on the lower deck perspective, showing us the daily absurdities of Starfleet life from the viewpoint of characters who aren't commanding the ship or saving the galaxy. Tendi's bizarre personality is a perfect embodiment of this perspective. She is relatable, chaotic, and delightfully flawed, and her presence reminds viewers that Starfleet life isn't always about diplomacy, exploration, or combat. Sometimes, it's about spilling alien goo on your captain's uniform, accidentally breaking the replicator, or getting stuck in a transporter beam. In the end, Ensign Tendi wouldn't